July the 9th at Liverpool, Olympia, we have a central area title fight between Mickey Ellison and Jake Barton. Jake, we're going to start with you because this is a fight you've been screaming for. You've been shouting to Steve Wood to get you a central area fight. We've been struggling to find your opponent. And what was brilliant about this is one of our matchmakers, Tom McNeil, proposed this fight to you, Mikey.
Yep.
And you said yes straight away?
Straight away, yeah. That's what you want. I want to test myself and get straight back in. And this is the fight to do that.
Well, the thing about this is, let's talk about with you first, Jake, because you're 7-0.
Yeah.
You know, you've done everything right as a professional. You've tested yourself with all your fights. I mean, during lockdown, you had that fantastic performance, which was your first six-rounder against a kid who was 7-0, far more experienced you. You went, I think you KO'd him in the second round, was it?
Second round, yeah.
Which was your first real step up, and the sad thing about it, not too many people got to see it.
No, it was behind closed doors, so no crowd, which was a strange experience, but you know, a good one all the same, and a good win, and something that kicked me on in my career. You know, not something a lot of fighters do early on in the career, take on another undefeated fighter, especially after only having 4 fights myself. But it was a step up we thought we were ready for at the time, proved we were right.
Well, let's go back, because this is where there's a lot of similarities in your careers. When you started, Mickey, you started 18 months before, yeah. But you both have a kickboxing background.
Yeah.
You were a very, very successful kickboxer, and you had a few kickboxing fights, didn't you, mate?
Yeah, I had a few.
Yeah.
Not too many, not as many as Jake, but yeah.
But you did have quite a few amateur fights. I think you had about 25 amateur fights.
Yeah.
Which you, Jake, you didn't.
Didn't have any, no.
So you've come into this totally blind, but you're doing really well. I mean, yeah. Am I right? Have you just been going down sparring Lennox Clark, who's fighting for the British title?
Well,
and the Commonwealth,
Lennox is
Clark,
the British, is the British and Commonwealth champion.
Of course he is, yeah. He's defending it against Mark.
He's defending it. So yeah, I've been getting some great rounds in there, down at BCB gym with him.
And obviously doing fairly well, because it was only yesterday you sparred, and unmarked, mate.
Still
pretty
pretty,
face.
mate, yeah. No, it's been going well. It's you know, it's a good experience, good sparring. It's what you need to keep improving and progressing. And we keep getting asked to go back down, so yeah.
Yeah, and Mike, this is what I love about you, is, as we've just spoke with Jake there, saying, you know, he's willing to take a risk and a gamble with your career. You've done that all the way through your career.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, Jake's unbeaten in 7 fights.
Yeah.
This is going to be your 17th fight. And yes, you've got four losses. But I've always said you've always come back better after your losses.
Yeah, sometimes it's not a loss if you learn, is it? And you can take positives from a loss and move on. So I think that's what I've done from every single fight I've been in, whether I've won or lost. So don't matter to me.
But you are coming off 2 losses.
Yeah.
But you see, you have fought at the higher level, and you fought at the higher level for a much longer time. For the last 2.5 years, 3 years, you've been fighting at that next level, the level which you're hoping to get to.
Exactly, yeah. Hence why we know it's a step up for me. As soon as the fight was offered, we said yeah straight away. A fight we're happy with. The central area title, which is, like you said, something we've been after and asking for. And when Mickey got offered, yeah, it's the kind of fights I want, a step up, a good fight for the fans to watch, a good test. You know, it's not an easy fight by any means. He's proven himself time and time again. He's been 10 rounds and numerous times. I haven't.
Well, so that's what I was going to say.
There's questions to be answered by me.
And do you feel you can answer those questions? Because like we were just saying before, Mikey's, I think you've had 4 scheduled 10-rounders?
Yeah, 4, yeah.
Yeah?
4, 1-8. 4, 10, 1-8.
Yeah, so you've done the distance and you've done it numerous occasions.
3 times.
You've done 3 scheduled 6-rounders, but obviously 2 of them you finished early. So in your last fight, which was at where we're going back to, the Olympia, you got your first 6 rounds on your belt. How did you feel after that?
Good, really fit. Felt like I could have done another 6, certainly at the pace it was at. And yeah, like I said, I wouldn't be taking the fight at 10 rounds if I didn't think I was ready for 10 rounds. We've been training to get ready for 12 rounds since my debut. That's just how Robbie Az was training in the Rydal, getting ready for 12 rounders. So 10-rounder.
In that last fight, you did have a little bit of a scare, because was it the first round? I think he didn't put you down, but it was classed as a knockdown because your bum touched the bottom rope and stopped you from going down.
Yeah, I think it was the third round.
Third round, yeah, sorry.
But yeah, no, he did. He caught me with a good shot and would have put me down had the ropes not been there. So yeah, but again, I think that's just another question answered, being able to, you know, take an 8 count, get up, carry on, win, probably won the rest of the round, really. I know I wouldn't have on the cards, but
no.
And then yeah, win the rest of the fight.
So that was great. But again, you're both coming from that little bit of inactivity. I mean, it's almost 7 months for you since you last fought. Was it November?
November, yeah.
Yeah, November. And for you, I think
it's about 12 months, isn't
12
it?
months,
Maybe
is
longer.
it?
Yeah.
It was last summer, wasn't it, when you fought Charlie?
Yeah, last summertime, yeah.
And that was for the English title as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, you know, there's a good argument for both of you. You know, you're undefeated, so you don't know how to lose yet. But he's very experienced.
Yeah.
What makes you believe? Have you watched much of Mickey Ellison? Have you seen much of him? Have you seen something that you feel that you can take advantage of and that will make you win the fight?
Yeah, of course I've watched him. I think it's foolish when you get given an opponent not to watch them at all. So yeah, of course I've watched him. I wouldn't say he was someone that was on the radar, to be honest, because he was campaigning at super middle. I was at light heavy. Just was never a fight that I thought of until it was offered, and then yeah, it makes absolute sense. Someone who's been there at a level that I want to go to, English title you just mentioned. So yeah, and again, I wouldn't be sat here now if I didn't think that I could beat him.
And same question to you. Have you watched much of Jake?
I did the other night in Bath. It's like you were in Bath with me, actually. So yeah, I watched a couple of his fights. But yeah.
And have you seen anything that you'd be able to take advantage of that makes you think you can be confident in this fight?
Yeah, there's a couple of things that we've been working on in the gym, but you know, you can do full camps working on things, but then if fight night comes and they're not there, then you know, you've got to be able to adapt. And I think with my experience now, I think that when I'm in there against him, I think I'm going to be able to show.
Do you think that will be the difference? Because this is going to be your 17th fight, and you know, we do say, I know no one likes to lose, but you have come back each time better from each loss. Do you feel that's what you're going to implement in this fight? Things that you didn't do in the previous fights that you knew you could have done? You think you can bring them into action in this one?
I think in the last couple of fights, just you know, stuff that I've learned that I've not been able to show that I can do yet, and this is the right fight for me, I think, to get back out there, and it's a good test.
Is it good for you to be back in your home state? Because you started your professional career and finished your amateur career at Elite Boxing with Alex Bianco, and now you returned back there, didn't you? So do you feel this is a good thing for you, coming from there?
Yeah, I'm back enjoying it again now. Obviously, after a couple of losses, I felt a bit flat, which I think is understandable.
Yeah.
So I needed to go back to enjoying it, and I've enjoyed it. And then as soon as the fight got offered, it made sense, because I just want to test myself and see what I can get out of it before I get too old.
Do you believe that saying, what everyone says, a happy fight is a dangerous fight?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
And now you've always been with Rob Butler down at the Rydale.
Yeah.
But like I said, Rob prepares you well. He takes you all over. You know, you don't just sit in your gym and bring people to you. You go all over the place, sparring with people. Who have you been preparing with? We mentioned Lennox Clark before, but who else have you been working with?
We went down to Nottingham to have some rounds with Chad Sugden.
Oh yeah.
Sugden's fighting for the English as well the week after.
Didn't
You fought him,
kickboxing background?
He beat me 10 years ago kickboxing.
Right.
So yeah, an interesting one. Good spar. You know, more good preparation, good work. Good sparring. Lennox Clark, as you mentioned. We had who did we spar yesterday? Ricky. His second name will come to him in a minute. Summers, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sparred him yesterday. Yeah, Ben Burnham, who's
from the Venture,
VIP,
from the VIP fighter.
We just good sparring all round. Going out looking for it, getting it brought in.
So you've left no stone unturned. You prepared.
I would say so. Yeah. I'm never out the gym ever. You know, I'm learning every week, every day. I dedicate myself to the sport of boxing, and I think come the 9th of July, you're going to see the best version of me, and probably one that's going to shock you.
And with you, preparations gone well?
Yeah, brilliant, yeah. Like Jake said himself there, every week, you know, back enjoying it and improving week after week, and I can see it in my sparring as well.
Yeah.
You know,
And who have you been moving around with, anyone?
Lots of people, different boys, big lads, lighter boys, some amateurs, some seasoned pros.
The good thing with Elite is it's a huge gym, and there's people coming in and out of place every single day, isn't there?
And yeah, and you can spar anyone, and it don't matter, does it? Until fight night, do you know what I mean? You can have the best camp, but unless you do the business on fight night, it don't mean anything, does it? So, you know, sparring's there to practice and learn your trade. So, if you get the rounds in, and then you do the business on fight night, you know, that's what it's about,
Do you think
inevitably.
this is going to benefit you moving back, because you were huge as a super middleweight, but you did start your career as a light heavyweight. Do you feel now you're getting a little bit older, this is going to benefit you being back up to light heavyweight?
Yeah, I think I've always like restricted myself from growing, you know, into like a man. And then the bit of time I had off, obviously, naturally I went up to probably 92, 93 kilograms. So I've obviously brought myself back down. So I probably am naturally a light heavyweight rather than a super middle. So, but like I say, I'll find out on fight night. 3 weeks, baby.
2.
2.5 weeks, isn't it?
2.5.
Well, no, yeah, you're right. 2 weeks tomorrow. 2 weeks tomorrow.
2 weeks tomorrow we weigh in, and then 2 weeks Saturday fight night.
Yeah. So, like I say, I really, one last thing about this is it's a little bit of history again, because not often do we have VIP versus VIP. We have done it a few times, but very rarely have we done it for titles. I think the last time was at the Olympia, where we had Wayne Dinny against Carl Dills at the cruiserweight. That was a fantastic fight, but that was 2014. Wow. 2014, and also that reminds me, because it was 2014 since anyone last fought for this title, which was, I think, Matty Clarkson, who was the winner.
Yeah, Matty, yeah.
And Matty Clarkson, you would have done some sparring with him.
Yeah, I've sparred Matty quite a bit, yeah.
Well, he actually beat the kid who inflicted your first defeat, in Carl Wilde, because in your third fight, you ended up taking a fight that wasn't meant to be for you. Yeah. You fought Carl Wilde, who had actually previously held this title, and it was his second defence that he lost it to Matty Clarkson. So it's been 8 years since anyone's fought for this. So you're going to whoever wins this fight on 2 weeks on Saturday will be the first champion in 8 years.
Yeah, well, it'd be nice to beat it.
Well, listen, we don't know, and that's what's exciting about this. Like I say, we've just explained there's a great argument for you to win, because he's more experienced, but you're undefeated.
No, it is. It's a 50-50 fight. On paper, it's a 50-50 fight.
That's what we both want, isn't it?
Exactly.
You give it a good test, and then only the better man will win on the night.
Absolutely.
Well, that's what we'll leave it on. So, if anyone wants, tune in or turn up at the Olympia in Liverpool, because we've got a packed card. I think there's 11 fights on as well as your own. And it's going to be an absolute barnstormer. If you remember, I think it wasn't VIP, but just before lockdown, we had another cruiserweight Central Area fight there between Damien Chambers against Jay Farrell, and it was an absolute crack. It didn't last long, only 2 rounds, but it was brilliant. So hopefully, if you can follow on that form, it's going to be a good night for one of you.
Yeah, certainly will.
Do you want to shake hands?
I'll shake his hand.
See you later, lads.
Cheers, Paul.